to a brand new episode of Talkoffame. I hope everyone's enjoying their day whenever you're listening to this. And today I'm talking to Carly Claire. I'm so bad with this, you can correct me,
Okay.
but she is Canada's #1 Priscilla Presley tribute and is often recreating her iconic outfits, which is amazing. It's literally the same exact outfits.
Thank
And
you.
I have so many questions to ask Carly, and I've been following her work for honestly a hot minute now. And her outfits is honestly my personal fave. I literally want to buy every single one of them. All Priscilla's outfits are just amazing, and her style back then, and so to this day, is awesome. But thank you so much for joining us today for today's episode, Carly. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
And so, like, of course, Priscilla Presley, she is seriously an icon from, the 50s to today with her iconic outfits. But what kind of got you into Priscilla and the works that she does?
So it all kind of started, we're gonna go backwards a little bit. It all started when I was younger. So my mom is kind of like the main Elvis fan in our family. So I
Mhm.
always grew up with Elvis himself being around the house, music, books, magazines, little magnets. He's always kind of been around, but I've never really been into him myself at a young age. I also grew up listening to a lot of 70s, 80s music. I was skilled on that. Older TV shows like Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days. So it kind of just always was in me, like kind of like a little vintage gal, was always just there. And then as I grew older, got into hair and makeup and outfits, and I'm studying fashion in school right now. So I'm just finishing up that. And then I'm going to continue getting into esthetician, cosmetics, and etc. So it's just like I once I discovered her and Elvis and I learned more about them, I was like, who is this chick? Like she's really, like she's a vibe. And
Yeah.
I'm vibing with her and I love her looks and all these outfits. Like once I saw that picture of her the day after she gave birth to Lisa Marie, I'm like, I want to look like that when I'm done giving birth. I want
Yeah,
to
I
look like
know. I
that.
think
My
that's like
hair done,
everyone's dream to look like that after they
right?
give birth.
I want my hair done. I want my nails still on, everything. And I was
Mm.
like, let me just, like, let me maybe try doing winged eyeliner one day. Let me try putting on some fake eyelashes and see what happens. And then it just kind of got like it just kind of grew from there, if that makes sense. Like I read her book, her memoir Elvis and Me, and I was like there's always different stories about the people who knew Elvis or who knew him more or whatever. And I don't know, I just really grew close to her, and I'm like, this girl is not just a fashion icon, but she's just iconic in herself.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess it just kind of started from there, like learning more about
Mhm.
her and just getting intrigued. Yeah.
Yeah, like I kind of grew up the same way. Like my aunt is like the biggest Elvis fan ever. Like she went to see him in concert when he was still alive in like the 70s.
Yeah.
And like her whole personality is Elvis. And with growing up with that, Elvis is like I listened to Elvis a little bit, but it wasn't until the Elvis movie came out last year where I became a big fan. The Elvis movie is amazing. And so
Yeah.
I've seen it a million times and would not get over it. And it's seriously the soundtrack and the way Austin Butler did it was awesome. But when I became like, I recently bought Elvis and Me after I saw the Priscilla movie. I didn't read it yet, but I did read snippets of the book, and that book like is absolutely amazing. And I feel like when you compare the Elvis and the Priscilla movie, there's such a big difference between how Elvis and Priscilla were in real life, and like you just don't know what to believe.
Yeah. I totally agree with you on that, right? Like they're like I always think about it like they were both humans, right? So they both made mistakes, which is completely normal, right?
Yeah.
I know we like look at both of them like, oh my God, they're angels, but like I always go back to like they were humans, right? And they were going through different things just like us. So it's just kind of like yeah, like you don't know what to believe, but it's like different perspectives, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah. And like I just feel like when people see Priscilla or even Elvis kind of act out, they're like, "Oh my God, you're such horrible people.
I
Like,
know.
why are they
Yeah.
acting out?" But then it's like, even though they're like considered famous to their name, like
Yeah.
they're actually having the same emotions as
Yeah.
people usually act, no matter if they're famous or not.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
But what was kind of like the moment you really kind of realized you wanted to kind of be a Priscilla tribute?
Well, it all started when I found out like it was a thing. So, like I said, dating back to many years ago, with Elvis, we actually hired a tribute artist for my mom's 40th birthday, and there was a surprise party. And I was so young, I was like 7. So all I remember is hiding and seeing this man walk through my house in a white jumpsuit, and I'm like, who is this man? And then obviously, once I got into the whole Elvis community and Priscilla community, and I found out that, well, like these tribute artists, like they're talented people. Like, they're
Yeah.
so good. A lot of them, like they know what they're doing. They're getting it down to a T. And I was like, wow, this is a thing. And then I came across these two amazing Priscilla tributes. Who, I don't know if you know them, but one is Lauren Knight and the other one is Amy as Priscilla. And I was like, these girls are absolutely like amazing. Like spot on. And I'm like, wow, this is a thing. Like, so they kind of, I guess you can say, inspired me. Like, I look up to both of them very much. And I'm kind of close with Lauren as well. And she's such a sweet girl. And it's like, I just felt so welcomed. And I'm like, you know what? If I can do it, like if I could, why not? Let's just give it a try. And I guess I took the right go ahead. So
Yeah, there's honestly like so many amazing tributes out there. Like I didn't even know like tributes were a thing. The same here as well. Like I knew, like I saw people out and about dressed as Elvis. I'm like, why are these people dressed up like Elvis? Like what's
yeah.
going on? Like why are they dressed up like Elvis? But it wasn't really recently until I realized, like, oh my God, people actually do this for a living. Like this
Yeah,
is how they make money.
serious.
This is like their job. And I'm like, this is honestly crazy that people are diehard Elvis fans or Priscilla fans still today. So this day, even after he passed away in 1977, it really shows how much of an impact Priscilla and Elvis made even after he passed away, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's
But I know you said that you loved Priscilla's outfit after she had Lisa Marie, which is one of my personal favorite outfits. But do you have a favorite Priscilla outfit? Honestly, there's so many that I can
yeah.
choose.
I always get asked that question, but I love it. But it's such a hard one to answer because I'm like, can I just pick all of them? Like, I
I
can't pick one,
know.
right?
I give the exact same answer. I'm like, I'll just choose every single one.
Right? If I
Yeah.
did have to narrow it down to at least two, it would probably be one that she wore in August of 1970, I believe. And it's like a long fuchsia pink gown, but then it has
Mm.
like fur cuffs and it's kind of like silky, but then it has like a cute, I don't even know how to describe it. It's absolutely beautiful. And I hope that one day I do have the chance to recreate it. But it's like absolutely beautiful. There's also another one that she wore in 1970 to, I think his name was George. It was a friend that they attended their wedding, and it was like a blue kind of hooded set,
Oh, I
and it's
know. That's my
absolutely
favorite too. I
right,
was just gonna
gorgeous.
say that. Like the
Yeah.
blue one is definitely my all-time favorite. Like when I was like once I saw you posted kind of recreate an outfit or whatever on your Instagram feed, I'm like, oh my gosh, this outfit, like I want to wear it. I don't care how much I spent. I
And
just
I'm
like get hands in that.
yeah. I'm so excited to like share that. Like it is coming along, but I'm so excited to share it. And some people are like completely lost. Like, what is this? And I'm like, wait till you see. Like, just
Like
that's all
wait
I'm
until you see in a couple of weeks, then you'll
yeah.
know.
Yes.
But like, have you ever met Priscilla before, or you kind of never kind of met her?
um, no, unfortunately not. She hasn't came here from what I know of. But it's it's definitely a dream, that's for sure.
Mm.
I got like noticed by her uh very early into my like paying tribute, thing. Once I started my account, it was just a few months in, and I was like, holy shoot, like, and I was just in shock, and everyone was messaging me, oh my God, Priscilla, she commented on everything. And I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? So from that day on, I just kind of felt like I got like a little stamp of approval, if that makes sense, by her, that I'm doing a good job so far.
Mhm.
And I'm just like forever grateful and thankful that she noticed me, because it's just like it's like a little like, like kind of like a pat on the back. Like it's just
Yeah.
I'll forever like remember that. But I do hope to meet her one day.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a heartwarming moment being like, oh my God, she knows who I am. Like
Yeah.
it's like when someone I love, like Priscilla Presley, comments on my post, I'll literally just pass out. I'll be like, nothing's gonna ever compete with this comment ever.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
literally like most likely save it to my lock screen is how.
Yeah. Yeah. I was crying for and I was going out that day with my cousins and I was crying and I was explaining to them who she was and they're like, "Oh my God," they're freaking out. And I was like crying for almost 10 minutes and I was just like hyperventalating and I just couldn't believe it.
Oh my
So,
gosh, I would do the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, she just commented my post and like she just this is the reason I'm doing this and she saw
yeah.
it and she knows who I am. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna cry until the end of my life. I'll never get over it.
Yeah.
Okay, like how do you like make your outfits? I mean, I know you have to recreate a bunch of outfits. So how do you kind of get all these outfits together
Yeah.
to create it?
So a lot of the pieces, I figured this out more of like my more of her casual known looks. I like to say like casual, nothing too like whoa. I mean they're all whoa, but some of them are just on like the more calmer side. I do have a lot of pieces myself that have been in my closet for years. I guess happen to be very similar or right on the tee of some of the things that she's worn. But more of the ones that I'm like trying to recreate and that are on my bucket list are definitely getting like they're getting professionally made, like at a seamstress. And I'm just communicating with them, or even like my own grandmother actually helps me out with sewing because I'm not the best sewer. So she will definitely help me out with like skirts or dresses or whatever it is that has to be made. So yeah, so it's kind of like a little bit getting sewn by a seamstress and a little bit just on, oh wait, this looks like it, right? It's been in my drawer for years. Let's just use, right? So it's just kind of a little bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like great because whenever you have smaller outfits, you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
less money you have to spend. I can just take a picture
Right?
and
Yeah.
post it. Like it's like whenever you have the same clothes or similar, you're like, okay, let's just use this clothes instead of, maybe having to sew or even
Yeah.
buying different products to really just make it just exact for maybe an Instagram photo.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But like I know we kind of discussed this earlier, but did you ever kind of see the Priscilla movie? If so, how did you kind of feel about it? Because I know I when it came out, when I saw it, I had like so much mixed feelings about it.
Yes. So, and I just, yeah, this question, I've been very like about talking about it because there's a lot of people who just like that I've noticed. It's like, oh, if you like Priscilla or if you've seen the movie, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Like, there's a lot of people who are
No.
like strongly against her. But then at the same time, I feel like even if you don't like her, I feel like you should just respect everyone's opinions, right? Like, I
Yeah.
just think there should just be respect throughout the whole Elvis fandom or Priscilla fandom or whatever. But yes, I have seen the movie, and I did cry at the end,
Yeah.
like
I
most of
did too. I was tearing up
yeah.
at the end. I'm like,
Um,
oh.
yeah. So I did see it. Um, I thought it was very well done, but I personally like the 1988 version that they did of Elvis and Me, which was like kind of like the original one that they
Mhm.
put together years ago. Just because I think that they didn't show Elvis to be that er in it, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
this one kind of, from what I've noticed, is whenever like Jacob Elordi, who played Elvis, whenever he would be on the screen, there'd be like a little like black aura around it, and I was just not vibing with it because
Yeah,
I'm like,
me
I don't
either.
remember them showing this in the Elvis movie, right, with Austin, or I don't remember them showing him like this in the 1988 version of Elvis to Me. So I was just like kind of a little bit confused, right? There were some things in the movie that I didn't agree with. Like there were some parts in the book that I had wished that they put it in the movie, like more happy moments and not just make it
Yeah.
so doom and deep. So yeah, so I do have like you said, like mixed emotions about it. I do wish it kind of ended a little more better, if we're gonna be
Mhm.
honest, but more of like a resolution at the end and not just like whoa, like what happened, right? Like
Um,
yeah. So I mean, it was well done, but I've it's not my favorite. And you would think it is, but it is just well done overall. But yeah, like like the way that they portrayed Elvis, I was just not really vibing with it.
Yeah, I'm the same way because I thought like the whole movie they kind of like portrayed Elvis as a kind of like a bad person.
Yeah,
And it really kind of showed like the dark moments and it really kind of like with the movie and how like the scenes were and how kind of the colors were, it was really dark and I was like, was life really like that? Like why did it kind of just make it this straight, this dark?
yeah,
About the relationship. I was like waiting to see if they put happy moments in, like when they had Priscilla,
yeah,
kind of, those things, but there wasn't really, yeah. I kind of wish they kind of did more sort of detail about
yeah,
their lives together instead of like the bad moments. I mean, some parts were interesting, like they didn't. They put some parts on Priscilla in the movie rather than Elvis. Elvis was specifically Elvis, not
yeah,
about the relationship. I love how it gave us more kind of information about it, but it was kind of like a like mixed emotion and negative energy than more than positive and both negative energy at the same
yeah.
time.
It was I also wish that they put more like accurate like history like historic accurate outfits that she's worn rather than just like boom, this is a dress from 1967, like, right? I do wish, because I've only seen maybe like two or three accurate outfits that she's worn, at least that I've seen in pictures and footage and stuff in the actual movie. And I was just like, you know, but yeah, but with the whole portraying him bad, I don't, I wasn't really happy with that. But then I always think back, like, it's her side of the story, right? Like we have to give her some credit for explaining her side and what she's been through. But yeah, what I've seen, even with like the original Elvis and Me that they made back in 1988, like I mentioned before, um, I watch it and it doesn't change the way I feel about Elvis, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make me think like, oh my God, this guy is like, it does not make me think that at all. It'll
Yeah.
just, that same image will just always be in my head. So
Yeah, like it was the same way for me. Like at some point, I'm like, was he kind of really like that? And then
yeah,
at the
like
end,
we
I'm
don't
just
know.
like, even if he was, I'm like, I'm not gonna change the way I like him. Like
No. Yeah.
his music will forever be iconic, and even with some people might think, oh my God, I'm not gonna like him anymore because of just how this movie was portrayed. But it was part of Priscilla's story and the way she told it, and maybe not all of the facts in the story is in the movie. And some movie part of the movie might be fictional. It might even not be true, which is fine. It's part of
Yeah.
making movies, and it really changes the way maybe some people even like Priscilla or Elvis based off of the way they acted. I know like they started dating when she was 14, which I know some people think it's weird, but you have to think like, oh my God, it was the 50s and 60s. Things are much different, like dating younger girls was much different and
Yeah.
much kind of more popular, I would probably say back then
Yeah.
than it was today.
Yeah. And that's like a continuous thing that goes around about Elvis and just their relationship. And it's like, you guys have to actually read about their story and not just assume, oh my gosh, she did this and that, and she was like this and that. Like, you have to understand their story before assuming. That's how I like to see things.
Hmm.
So yeah, and even like when the Priscilla movie came out and there was just like random people who were just curious about learning about her story, and they're walking out of the theater, oh, he was this and that and he did this and she was so young and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, you guys have to at least read the book or read more about their relationship, like then just go ahead and like be assuming all
Assume.
these things, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And before we wrap up, like how can people connect with you and everything you're doing?
So I'm on Instagram at Carly Silla, and then I also have a TikTok, which is Elvis's Sweet Caroline, or if you just type in Carly Silla, it'll pop up.
Amazing. So everyone go connect with Carly. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I love like talking to people that are big Elvis fans, and I'm a big Elvis geek. And anyone that's kind of loves Elvis as much as I do and Priscilla, it's always, I'm always so excited for these type of interviews. And Carly, I love like, seriously everything you're doing and the way you kind of pay tribute to Priscilla. It's really amazing. I love like the way you kind of pay tribute to her. And I
Thank you so much,
really appreciate you joining us today on today's episode. I really
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much for having me. It was such a pleasure. This was so
Thank
fun.
Thank you so much. And enjoy the rest of your day,
Thank you.
everyone. And thank you so much, Carly, again. And I talk to you soon.
Bye.